Hey everyone, it's Tony. In this video, we'll be looking at a SQL interview question asked by Twitter called Histogram of Tweets. Basically, Twitter is giving us some sample tweet data and it's asking us to write a query to obtain a histogram of tweets posted per user in 2022. And for the output table, it wants tweet count per user as the tweet bucket and the number of Twitter users who fall into that bucket. What does this mean? We're given a sample tweet table where we have the columns tweet ID as an integer, where each tweet has a unique tweet ID, and a user ID where each user has a unique user ID, also represented as an int. The message, which is basically the content of the tweet, what it's about, as a string, and the tweet date, which is when the tweet was posted in timestamp format. So an example of what this table can look like is that we have a bunch of user IDs and the tweets they tweeted on a certain day. So for example, we can see that user 111 posted 3 tweets, in which 2 of them were in 2022 and 1 of them was in 2021. And as expected, all the tweet IDs are different. And also we can see these 2 users posted only 1 tweet in 2022. Now, what do we want to output from a tweets table like this? Well, because users only posted 2 tweets in 2022 or 1 tweet in 2022, these are our only 2 tweet buckets. And we can see from this table that only 254 and 148 users tweeted 1 tweet in the year. So that's why we have 2. And only 1 user 111, posted 2 tweets in 2022. Like so. We don't count this tweet by user ID 111 because they tweeted it in 2021. So having the problem described, what I would immediately think is to create an intermediate table where I have the unique users in one column, so their user ID, and the number of tweets they posted in 2022. So after, we can select from that table, which will make our lives a lot easier. So we can select from the tweets table their user ID. And because we first want a column with the unique user IDs, we need to group by the user ID. And as stated previously, we also want to count the number of tweets by doing count the tweet ID that each user posted in 2022. And we can alias that column as tweet count per user. But we're not done here because we need a where condition to make sure the tweets posted by the users are within the calendar date of 2022. Which means it's between January 1st, 2022 and December 31st, 2022. So the tweet date between 2022 0101 for January 1st and 2022 12/31 for December 31st. And by running the code, we can see that we now have a table with the unique user IDs in one column and the number of tweets the corresponding user posted in 2022. So how do we get from this table to a final output table that looks something like this? Well, we can select from this table and use this query as a subquery to nest inside a larger select statement to arrive at a table that looks like this. And I see that the tweet buckets are all unique. And immediately I think we need to group by this column and then count the number of users who fall into that corresponding column of the number of tweets posted in 2022. So the first thing we can do is alias this whole thing as, say, total tweets. And we want to select from this the tweet count per user, but this time we need to alias it as tweet bucket because that's the requirement. And then we also need a group by, let me indent it to make it more readable. Group by that corresponding column to get unique tweet buckets. And finally, we need to count the number of users who fall into that tweet bucket, like so, and we alias it as users no. So if we run this code, we see that we get something that looks similar to this, and that's the way of doing it. I want to mention there's another way of doing it called using common table expressions, where we separate the 2 steps into different SQL chunks to make it more readable. And the way we do that is take our subquery here. I'm going to cut it move it all the way up, and use the with keyword and our subquery intermediate table name and do this. And what this is doing is basically storing this whole query into this, I guess you can say, variable. That's how I think of it. And we just simply select from this table that we created up here. And we get the same result. So we can submit and our solution is accepted. That's basically how to solve this problem. I hope you got something out of this video. Consider to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.